My name is Jenny, and I am 37 years old. My life felt like a stack of cards that could fall down easily. My husband, James, was 58. He seemed like a man with a lot of experience, and I thought he was completely loyal to me. We had been together for 19 years, which felt like a very long time. Our 2 daughters were the most important things in our lives. Our oldest, Lily, was a lively 18-year-old, almost an adult. Our youngest, Daisy, was a cute, giggling 1-year-old. She made us very happy and reminded us of the new part of our lives together. Our life was okay, not fancy. James worked hard at his job as an accountant. I loved being a stay-at-home mum and taking care of our house and our girls. In the mornings, we were busy making breakfast and taking Lily to school. In the afternoons, Daisy would make baby sounds, and Lily would tell me things teenagers tell their moms. In the evenings, we usually spent time together, eating a quiet dinner and watching a movie or reading. Our life wasn't exciting, but it was ours, and I was usually happy with how things were. But under the surface of our calm life, something bad started to happen. It was like a small crack that I first thought was just from being tired or stressed. But the crack got bigger, and it showed a darkness that could ruin everything I cared about. One Tuesday afternoon, when James was at work, I felt worried and looked at his laptop. He didn't use it much at home because he liked his work computer better, so I was even more curious. I looked through his emails quickly, and at first, everything seemed normal. Then I found a folder called Personal, hidden in his files. My heart started beating fast as I opened it. Inside, among his money papers and old tax papers, were messages. Not just a few, but many from the last few months. The name on them was Sarah, and I didn't know her. At first, the messages were just simple greetings and talking about their day. But when I looked at older messages, the way they talked changed. They started saying sweet things to each other, and then they talked about more private things, planning to meet secretly and saying they loved each other. This made me feel very scared. It was clear. James had a girlfriend. It felt like the world was turning upside down. My husband, my partner for almost 20 years, the father of my children, was hurting me. I felt sick to my stomach, and then very sad, like someone had hit me. How could this be happening? Had our whole life together been a lie? I thought about the years we had been together, trying to remember things I hadn't noticed before, moments that now seemed to have a secret bad meaning. That night when James came home, I was shaking. I tried to act normal and wait for the right time to talk, but the truth felt like a hot coal in my chest that was about to explode. After dinner, when the girls were asleep, I talked to him. My voice was shaky as I asked him the question that had been bothering me so much. "James, is it true? Do you have a girlfriend?" He didn't seem guilty or sorry. Instead, he was angry. He made a face and looked hard. "What are you talking about? You're being silly. You always make problems when there aren't any." His denial sounded so sure that for a moment, I wondered if I was wrong. Had I misunderstood the messages? Was I just imagining things? But the bad feeling in my stomach told me I was right. I knew for sure that he was lying. I couldn't just forget about it. I needed proof, something real that would break down his lies. A few nights later, while James was sleeping, I carefully picked up his phone. My hands were shaking as I looked through his messages, searching for the name Sarah. There it was, a recent conversation with loving words and plans for the weekend. James moved in his sleep, and I quickly put the phone back on the table next to the bed. My heart was pounding. I was scared of getting caught, but I really needed to know the truth. The next morning, I found his phone bill hidden in a drawer. I looked at the long list of numbers, trying to find one I didn't know. One number was called almost every day, often more than once a day, at strange times. I felt a tight knot of fear in my stomach. I wrote the number down, my hand shaking. Later that day, when James was at work and Lily was visiting a friend, I took a deep breath and called the number. A woman answered. Her voice sounded a little familiar, and she seemed about my age. I tried to be brave and asked, "Is this Sarah?" There was a short pause. Then she said hesitantly, "Yes, speaking." I took another deep breath and said quickly, "I'm James's wife, Jenny." The other end of the line was completely silent. Then a cold voice that didn't care much said, "Oh, well, that's not my problem if your husband hasn't told you." Her words hurt me like a slap. She didn't seem to feel sorry or bad at all. She knew I existed, she knew about our family, and she was still having an affair with my husband. The conversation was short and mean. She told me what I was afraid of, without saying sorry or explaining anything. She just didn't care about the pain she was causing. I hung up the phone, feeling numb. My heart felt like it had been broken into a million pieces. The truth about James's cheating hit me very hard. It wasn't just a small thing. He was really involved with another woman. When James came home that night, I talked to him again, knowing the truth for sure. "I spoke to her, James. I know about Sarah." This time he was even angrier. He yelled at me, saying I was looking through his private things and that I was a jealous and insecure wife. "I'll stop it when I want to," he said sharply, his eyes full of anger I had never seen before. "You can't tell me what to do." I started crying, tears running down my face. This wasn't the first time. Years ago, when Lily was just a baby, he had a short affair. I had forgiven him then because I thought it was a mistake, a moment when he was weak. But now, with our baby daughter just 1 year old, it was happening again. The man I had trusted, the man I had built my life with, was choosing someone else over me and our children again and again. I was on leave from my job because I had just had Daisy. My days were all about taking care of her. The thought of going back to work, trying to take care of the baby, and work at the same time while feeling so upset, felt impossible. We also had a big loan for our apartment, and it was in my name. James often used this to his advantage. We paid for it together, but he knew that if he didn't give me money, I would have trouble paying. My paid leave from work was almost over, and we needed James's money to support our family. He knew this, and it made him feel powerful. He thought he could do whatever he wanted in our relationship, even if it meant having another woman. Our older daughter, Lily, had noticed that things were tense at home. She was a smart and sensitive girl, and she tried to talk to her father. "Dad, this isn't right. You're hurting Mom. You're hurting all of us. Please stop." But James would get angry at her, saying mean things that made her feel confused and sad. He was pushing away the people who loved him the most. The days turned into weeks, and James started acting more and more strangely. He would stay out late, saying he was working, but his reasons didn't sound real. He wouldn't call or text me, so I spent many nights awake, worrying and scared. When he finally came home in the mornings, he was often grumpy and didn't want to talk. telling me to stop asking questions because he was tired of my accusations. Then he said he wanted to go on a trip. "Just for a few days," he said, not looking at me. "I need some time alone." When I asked if I could go with him, he just said, "No, I want to go by myself." That hurt. Why did he need to get away from us? Was he going to see her? I also saw that we were losing a lot of money. Every month, we had less money in the bank. When I asked James about it, he just told me not to worry, that he would take care of it. But I was worried. I started looking closely at our bank statements, and the truth became very clear. There were many charges from expensive restaurants, stores that sell fancy things, and times when he took out money and couldn't explain why. He was spending our money that we needed for our family, on his girlfriend. The constant stress and worry started to make me sick. I couldn't sleep, I didn't want to eat, and I was always tired. I got headaches and stomach problems. Finally, I went to the doctor, and he told me that I was very stressed and needed to rest. But how could I rest when my life was falling apart? Lily was also very sad because of what was happening. The happy girl I knew was becoming quiet and didn't want to be around people. She didn't smile much, didn't want to see her friends, and seemed very ashamed and confused. She couldn't understand why her father, who she had always admired, was acting this way. Our baby, Daisy, didn't know what was going on, but I worried about her future and what kind of family she would have. I told my best friend, Sarah. It was strange that her name was the same as James's girlfriend, and it reminded me of the pain all the time. She listened carefully as I told her everything, my voice full of tears. "Maybe you should leave him, Jenny," she said softly. But the thought of leaving James made me scared and unsure. How could I manage on my own? I hadn't worked in years, and I felt like I had forgotten how to do things. I didn't have my own money, and taking care of 2 young children by myself seemed impossible. I needed James, not just because I loved him, but also for money. My family tried to help and told me to be strong. They said maybe James would realize what he was doing and come back to us. But every day that passed, I had less hope. I was afraid that he would never change and that he would always choose Sarah over our family. I felt stuck, like I was caught in a bad situation that I couldn't escape. Even though he had hurt me so much, I still loved James. We had shared so much together and built a life, and the thought of losing all of that and breaking up our family was terrible. I wished he would remember who we were, the love we used to have, and the dreams we had for our future. I wanted him to leave Sarah and come back to us, to his daughters, and to me. But as the days turned into weeks and him not being around became normal, I started to realize something sad and real. He wasn't coming back. Not the James I knew and loved. He was lost in his own world, a world where we didn't belong. The sadness I felt was overwhelming, and I couldn't even see a little bit of hope in all the pain. I felt completely lost, like I was in a dark place with no way out. The house that used to feel safe now just felt empty, always reminding me of the love that was gone and the family that was broken. The future looked scary and uncertain, and I didn't know how I would ever get out of this darkness. If this story touched your heart, please feel free to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories will be coming soon.